Peggy is the founder of Peggy Speech Therapy. Welcome, Peggy.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so glad to be here and talking to you today.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that we were able to connect today and that you're able to share, your experience with people. So if any of you out there don't know, I'm Heather Blaze. I help business owners set their systems so that they can have time and money freedom to do what they love to do. And Peggy's one of my students. She came to me um, around her business, right? And I'm going to talk about, what she's gotten out of working together, where she was before to what she's experiencing now, the results that she's getting in her business, which are phenomenal. We're going to dive into that, what it took and all that kind of stuff. But let's start off, Peggy, with who you are. Like, what were you doing for work before you found me? And then kind of what led you up to maybe finding me. But first, let's talk about what do you do? Who do you serve?
Okay, so I help people struggling with speech clarity to communicate hard to fix sounds, especially R. R is my passion. Um, and that helps them feel empowered and confident so they can live a fully wonderful life in the
Mm.
future.
I love it. I love it. So, how long have you been doing this? Like, you've been a speech therapist for a long time. I
Yes,
remember.
this is 38th year as a
Wow.
speech
Okay.
language pathologist. Yeah.
38 years. Longer than I was expecting. I was thinking 26. So, 38 years you've been in the industry. You were working through the school system before, right? Like, you were working with
Yes,
the school system and following their structure. And what did you
absolutely.
notice? Like, you noticed something wasn't working. What wasn't working in the school system that had you create what you've created?
What since the 80s. I've wanted to have my own private practice,
Okay.
but that was very financially impossible for us starting out with our marriage,
Okay.
and we just didn't have those kind of funds. Um,
Hmm.
and so I got job after job after job working in South Carolina, then Florida, then back up to Michigan, where I'm originally from.
Okay.
And so the schools and hospitals and clinics always provided that framework of, well, you go, you go to college to get a career and degree, and then you go and work for somebody. In speech language therapy, a lot of us were not trained how to have private practices.
Great.
So I wanted that for myself, but I didn't know how at all. And
Hmm.
when technology improved so that I could see where I could work with more people over screens,
Yep.
far away places, rural places, people
Yep.
who can't get to clinics, um, and might be short staffed in the schools for speech therapy, I could
Great.
reach them. And so in 2019, I started really developing um, my teletherapy skills, and
Yep.
I wanted to do that for my private practice.
I
So
love
here I am. So I gained a whole bunch of state licensures.
it.
Uh,
Hmm.
I'm
Okay.
trying to fan out because I really want to make myself available to people who need to fix their R's. It is
Yeah.
one of the hardest sounds to fix, and so
Yep.
that's what I try to do.
And I think a lot of people think like, oh, okay, so what? Like, so somebody can't say the letter R or whatever. But when we first met, like I dove in. I'm like, well, how does that really impact people? Like, actually, teenagers, right? Okay, it doesn't sound like that big a deal. Like, you can become successful. I mean, look at Barbara Walter. Barbara Walter. She's
Mhm.
got that issue, right? And she's like this famous rich lady. But when you think about teenagers, right? We talked about like how it could really impact them negatively, like because they could be getting bullied at school, they could be suffering in their schoolwork, which affects their self-confidence, which affects their grades, which could affect their college. I mean, it's like a big, big, big deal. And if they're getting bullied at school and teased and stuff like that, like it could really lead to a lot of depression, anxiety, even suicide, right? And a
That's
lot of
right.
people don't think of it being such a severe thing. I don't think, like, in general, unless you're actually going through it yourself. I think a lot of people think like, oh, big deal, but when we shifted that perspective, it's like, oh yeah, I can totally see how important this is. And I think you mentioned something, the school systems aren't really set up properly to be able to help them in a quick and efficient way, right? And that's
Definitely not.
kind of what had you get into this too, wasn't it? Like what was
Yes.
happening in the schools that don't allow the results to for the kids to get over it, would you say?
Well, for the criteria is shifting too in the school setting in the United States public schools, in that if their speech doesn't impact them academically specifically, a
Huh?
lot of students are being denied because
Mm,
the teachers can understand them well enough,
yeah,
their friends can understand them well enough,
yeah.
so that's not giving them lower grades in school, and they're
Mm,
not acting out, they're usually pulling in. And they're
that's,
not talking. They're not answering questions in school, and they're not participating in lunch chats, and they're not
mm,
having friends at recess to play with because they might be bullied. So
yeah,
it's really impactful. And I've met quite a few students now. The last 3 years in schools, I was working with teenagers.
yeah.
And I found out that they had to just like go to homeschooling, or they went to my academy that I worked for because
Hmm.
they didn't have to go to a school building. They didn't have to be ostracized like that. So
Amazing.
one girl was very depressed until I said, "We're fixing this, R, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're going to get it done." And in the schools, oftentimes it's one a week that you
Hmm.
see a student. So in brick and mortar, you see
Yep.
people in groups. In online academies, you often are one on one, but still it's 1 to 2 times a week. It's not enough.
Not enough. It's not enough to get those results, and then they
Uh,
suffer for way longer. It impacts
yeah,
them in so many ways
years,
way longer.
years,
Years, right? When
years.
you fix it, and how long? How long do they work with you?
About right now, my program is 12 weeks, and so far I've had two gals that have accomplished that, and
Amazing.
really they accomplished it in 8 weeks.
So incredible. So incredible. So those are the kind of results that you're getting for people. And I mean, before you came to me, like what was your situation? What was happening around your business? Like I think the reason why you came to me was because from what I can remember, people were not able to find you, call you and pay you for this service.
That's
You
exactly
didn't have
right.
the structure around your offer in order to get these types of results, right?
Correct.
And pricing, like you were having a hard time. We don't have to talk about the price, but I remember you were charging hours for dollars
Yes.
and you were getting a lot of people. It was really hard for you to get them to pay that price. And then we created this program that's based on the price is based on the results, right? And you don't have to say the price unless you want to, but now you're commanding this premium price and you have how many clients so far? You're almost
Um, 6 at this premium price.
amazing.
Well, 5 for sure, 5 that I've been working with, and
Yep.
one more starting tomorrow.
Amazing.
Um,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. That's so,
so that's 12 weeks, 5
yeah,
days a week, or 4. I'm flexible to an extent.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've been doing this 38 years.
Mhm.
You know what it takes to get the results. So you're the expert, right? And that's the thing. It's like I have a lot of people calling me, who are experts in what they do, but they just don't understand how to set up their business structure properly. They don't know how to communicate the value effectively in order to get people to actually buy it, and a lot of things, right? And
Yes.
so yeah, tell us about your situation before we worked together, and then like what kinds of things were you doing to get clients, and like how were you running your business before and then now, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about what the difference is
Great.
for me.
So before I met you, did a soft start in the summer of 2021. I was
Okay.
still working full time, so I went back to school in the fall. But I
Yeah.
started with a landing page for a website, just a
Yeah.
landing page,
Yeah.
and I had at least 5 state licenses.
Okay.
And I had my Google ad,
Yeah.
and so I did Facebook ads, and I actually went to doctors' offices and took brochures and met with a specialist dentist, um, and I got nothing. I
Mm,
had 0 clients for that entire year. No one
wow.
called, no one
Oh,
wrote to me and said, "We need you." So
yeah.
nothing. And then in June of 2022, I retired from Michigan Public Schools and I started my business full time. And
Mhm,
I got 2 evaluations that didn't lead to therapy. So it was a one and done and a one and done, and that was it.
mhm,
And I kept trying every ugh,
mhm.
blogs and Facebook ads and trying to get my name out there. And, not living in California, I can't like just go, "Hey, so and so, hey, I can help with ours. Do you know anybody?" I can't do
Right.
that. I can't reach
Yeah.
out that way. Um,
Yep. Sounds
so,
like what a lot of other people do. It's like they're posting to no
oh,
end.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn, they're scouring Facebook. They're like,
Yes.
yeah, they're just trying everything that they can think of, throwing
Yeah.
stuff up on the wall to see what might stick, hoping, praying, guessing,
Yeah.
and
And in October, I got one girl working one time a week with very inconsistent attendance. So that
yeah,
was it. And
amazing.
when I saw your program
Post,
online, I
yeah,
was like, maybe you can help me. I don't know what to do. I'm just beside myself. And
yeah,
my husband was frustrated because we were a 2 income family before, and now I
mhm,
have 0 and
yep,
contributing to that half, and he was getting nervous. Rightly so.
right.
I was too.
And
Um,
then you said you posted something in the group the other day, like you made more money in
yes.
first quarter or something than what was it? The whole year before or something?
So for the whole year and a half trying prior to that, in the first
Yeah,
quarter, I made much more money because I made money.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
had to take a part-time subcontracting job because we needed,
yeah. You need to pay the bills.
utilities and stuff to be paid.
So
So,
what do you think, like, what do you think were the biggest things, distinctions or takeaways or whatever from working together that took you from there to being able to have your best quarter?
well, you said to me when we met
Hmm.
face to face like this, you said, "Hey, you've learned how to be a worker. You've never learned how to be an entrepreneur." I cannot say that word.
Yeah, business owner and entrepreneur. Yeah,
Business, an entrepreneur. There it is. Thank you.
yeah.
So I didn't know that and I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking I was making a job for myself.
Hmm.
But you taught me, "Hey, let's do it differently. How would you structure it if you could do it?" And I told you I needed the kids, I need to see people 5 days a week. The visualization has changed my whole perspective. That part that that part of the training from the very beginning of the training. So
Hmm.
from December, the top week of December, by doing the training, just the very first 3 modules of your training with the visualization and changing my mindset and
Hmm.
paying attention to how I'm projecting myself,
Yep.
I got my first client and
Mhm.
they
In 3 weeks.
agreed to it.
3 weeks, because 3 modules is 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
from
So, I
the time
mean,
you started in 3 weeks, you got your first high ticket client.
right. You told me to dream big and
Yeah,
to believe what I wanted in my future, that it's already here. So
yeah.
this was a picture of, I would
Uh,
love to have a house in Florida
Love
and
it.
I would love to have it in the Keys on the
Yeah.
beach and be able to do
Oh,
teletherapy and look out the window and go right
yeah.
here. And this is what I show everybody that I know that's a businesswoman.
I love it.
You
Yeah.
gave me the the understanding to imagine, because I was having a hard time,
Yep.
imagining how is anybody going to pay me for these services with a high like ticket or like a group
Yeah.
package type of thing.
Yep.
And so I was having such a difficult time with that because it's totally different than what speech therapists do generally.
Yeah. And what anybody, because we, like you said, we're all trained in our society to be workers, right? Everybody's told go to school, get good grades, get a good job, work, 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 do, charge for your time, right? Everybody in our society, our television, our friends, our family, our teachers, everybody that surrounds us is taught how to do that. So how would you know if nobody's taught you how to be a business owner? It's totally different, totally different. So
I
yeah.
went to a small business association coach for a while. I went to
Mhm.
another coach for a while. Nothing was sticking, nothing. But this,
So
I
yeah,
put right in front of my computer.
I love it.
So it's right behind here, and
Yeah.
I'm staring right eye to eye with that. And
Yep.
you taught me to believe in it. It's going to happen if you believe in it. And during one of your business blueprint uh,
Mhm.
things, you taught me about the spiral. Oh,
So yeah, so it's like, but it's not just that though, right? I mean, that's like
I
part
love.
of it, a big part of it, but it's part of it, but
It's
it's
part of
then
it, but there was
taking aligned
in-depth things.
action,
Yeah,
right?
and then
Then
the
taking the
training
aligned
is
action
in
from
depth.
that space on what you actually need to implement through all the other different exercises.
Oh, yes. Lots and lots of thinking and understanding myself and
Mm-hmm.
what it is that I give to people, what it is that I can help them with, and put that into words. I know it in my heart and my head, but
Yeah.
I didn't put it into words ever. And I just felt like I was just like any other speech therapist out there. I was raised not to brag, um,
Mm-hmm.
not to want more than what I should get out of life.
Yeah.
Um, that,
A lot of
kind of like
limiting
a
beliefs.
Midwestern culture
Mm-hmm.
of, you make a good living and you pay your bills and you
But you
do
weren't even making a living or paying your bills before, right? No, like, right? So it was just like, yeah, so there's a mindset shift involved. So first week was we talked about mindset shift, getting out of employee to empire mindset, that worker mentality into business owner mentality. So shifted that within the first week because, right, if you don't do that, nothing else is going to work. And there's specific exercises that I took you through to create a whole new identity,
yeah,
really, right? After
a future
however,
identity.
more than 38 years of programming in a week, we switched it, right? And then second week was how to communicate if like how to communicate if well no, it wasn't a communicate, it was your ideal client, right?
Yeah,
How do we communicate what you do effectively to them? So figuring out what exact words you need to use to attract those people, and then how you communicate the value around what you have to offer in order to get them to enroll at a premium rate into what you
right.
do, right? And then yeah, well, I mean that was like second and third week. So in 3 weeks, that was it. And then we had another 5 weeks after
Around.
that.
Right.
So
And there's
yeah,
a lot of learning to do, a
yeah,
lot. And I'm still learning. I'm still anticipating that I going back over and over things again and
yeah,
trying to figure out, okay, what's my next step and how can I automate this
yeah,
process so that people do see me somewhere and
yeah.
I can draw them in that,
Scale.
yes, scale. You taught me that word. I didn't know that.
So let me ask you, Peggy,
I
did
did
you
not
have
know the word scale. I don't.
yeah,
I'm still
absolutely.
learning.
There you go. So let me ask you, did you have any fears before investing with me?
Big time,
Yeah.
big time, and I didn't realize. I worked with a small business coach,
Mhm.
small business association coach, so that was no charge.
Okay.
And so to go from and not knowing the business world, I don't know about coaching and how that all works for people who are really into the business world. I didn't know. So I had no idea how much it would cost. And for me to think about for me was hard and I was scared and joining your class because
Yeah.
it's a financial concern.
Yeah.
And yet you taught me ways that I could afford it. And then my husband and I were able to talk to you too and figure that out. Okay, well, this is worth it. This is a business. This is your program was a make it or break it point
Yeah.
in our life.
And what happened? You made it. Yeah.
I'm
You,
making it.
you moved through your fear. Well, your investment with me is paid off, right? Like you've made your return on investment with me
Yeah.
already.
Yes.
Yeah. You're making more money beyond that now. So what would you say we did well to get you the results that we did?
The program's modules, the training modules, took me step by step, even though it was a lot of work and a lot of deep thought and mission and things like that.
Mhm.
Those modules helped me understand, okay, I am worth it to
Yeah.
show this program to people and how they could help their child or teenager or young adult to improve their speech.
Mm.
That part helped me, and it was a way I could see that, okay, there is a reason that I am so passionate about art, and your modules helped me with that to understand why that is, that I do have the training under my belt in order to provide that, and
Mhm.
that people are going to be searching for me, even though I'm like, please, please come to me. They didn't
Yeah.
know. And you
Yeah.
believed in me. There were the live trainings
Mhm.
um, throughout the module time, and then the other resources too. And it's ready to go for me to help me get through those nerve wracking calls of what do I say? How do I say it?
Yes. That's
So,
amazing.
um, and then in the future, well, you've been helping me too all along with trying to develop like a program similar to what I saw in yours, but
Yeah.
from my speech
For
therapy,
you. Yeah.
be able to let people know when I'm like on demand.
Yeah.
Oh, this lady knows about R. Let me
Yeah.
watch her video about what she can do to help us out.
Yeah. Yeah. Automating the process more and more so that can free up more of your time,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
now that you're making the money, now we got to get you, yeah, got to get you more automated as much as possible because everybody's business is different, right? But for the most part, there's a lot of things that you can do to automate your business so that you don't, like the marketing and the business system, so that you don't have to show up physically yourself, which gives you more freedom, more flexibility, more time to make a deeper impact with your clients or have time for self-care or whatever it is, right? Have quality time with your family, whatever it is for you. So what's a tip that you have for somebody that's kind of in the same boat as you, like they were struggling to get the right people, finding them, calling them, and paying them, but what's your advice for them if they're out there struggling, if they're thinking about working with me? What's some tips that you have for them to help them through that fear?
That you really are present,
Mm.
that you really do care, and that you have the modules, you refer to them in the group calls, you take what one person has experienced of your participants and you say, hey, maybe this will help you, Peggy, or maybe what Peggy has done will help you. And so it's that give and take. The thing that it was very hard for us to make the decision, but I didn't really feel like I had another choice. I had to believe in your expertise and your financial background,
Mhm.
that you help these other people. And my advice would be to me, point blank, if you do how I teach you to do it, what I tell you to do, you are going to be successful.
Mhm.
I really hung on that thread.
Yeah.
I still haven't completed all the things that Heather has asked me to do.
Yeah.
And if I continue and plug along through my busyness of working with clients, yay!
Yes.
I've been a little too busy.
Right?
But if I keep plugging along and I learn those things that you
Yeah.
also teach that I haven't,
Yeah.
and then go forth and and do your other kind of program too to help me understand social media and how does
Yeah.
that all work and to do it properly.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
winging it. I'm just throwing it
that's
here and
not in the
there.
other program. That's still in this program. You gotta just, yeah, you got everything you need in this program. Like there's
I
nothing,
already have.
you already got your return on investment and you haven't even made it. I think you're only halfway through because I think, or
Yeah,
what, maybe five, maybe on week 5 or something that you've implemented. I mean, like maybe you've gone through it, but haven't implemented everything yet,
I haven't implemented
right? And you're
everything.
still
Only half.
already,
Only
right.
half.
There you go. So that, I mean, that's just going to take you to the next level and get you more and more and more once you start implementing that. Like you really
Right.
don't need anything else other than what's in there, right? But if
Yeah.
you, yeah,
True. I mean, because I don't have the automation going on yet,
you
and
haven't
yet
implemented
people
that
are
part yet.
finding me
That's
now,
right.
and I had to text you this weekend to let you know because my husband said you should tell Heather that,
Mhm.
and I because I had a parent who called and she didn't want to invest in the time. That's
Yeah.
the thing that I would say to people: invest in the time to learn your procedures
Yes. Yeah.
because
But
if
you can't do it for them. They have to
yeah,
do the work. It's same with mine stuff too. It's like if you don't want to do the work, that's fine, then I'm not your girl, but I can give you all the tools, all the everything that you need to get you from where you are to where you want to be, right? Get you that result, but you do have to do the work. And that's like anything. And probably
yes,
people listening to this, right? Same with them.
yes,
They have to whatever they're teaching or whatever their service they're providing, same, like unless it's a done for you service, which
right.
most people it's not. People have to show
No,
up and they have to do some sort of work. They have to listen. They have to be coachable, all that good stuff.
and I don't like to write, and so this is a lot of writing that I didn't expect, but
Uh-huh.
it's beneficial. And I was just looking up in the other corner of my office wall because I've got my contract that you asked me to sign. It was
Yep.
basically a contract for myself to be
Hmm.
true to keep following. And so when I feel downhearted or is like, oh, I wish that mom would have agreed to it, but she didn't. And I'm looking up there, up at my contract. Well, okay, I got to keep going.
Yep. She didn't match your standard, right? Like you have
No,
standards of who you'll
I do
accept.
now because
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah, because you don't have to, now that you know what you know, you don't have to work with anyone and everyone. You can pick and choose who you work with, and you can work with your ideal clients. And that's the whole thing, right? So we're attracting the ideal client, your messaging is on point with your ideal client, you're enrolling your ideal clients, and then it makes life so much more fun and fulfilling and
Oh my
satisfying.
goodness. It's a day working on art. I feel like I'm in heaven. It's just like
Doing
so
what you
great.
doing what you love to do, living your
Yes.
purpose, your passion, and getting paid what you're worth. I mean, what's better than that? So, do you have any parting advice for anybody who's thinking about maybe doing, working with me or on the
Take
fence?
the leap of faith that, especially if you're a person like me and you weren't trained in how to do business, you were maybe trained to do a career, but not from a business perspective. So if you're looking for that, then I strongly recommend your program, even though you might have to finagle, okay, well, where am I going to get the cost factor to pay for the program? Even if you have to do that, do it with a mindset of this will change things around and right your ship and make it so that even in blind faith, in blind faith
Yeah,
that I I was going to have the client, it will happen if
yeah.
you just do the work and go through all the things it takes.
Mhm.
And I just look forward to even more success once
Mhm.
I can fully comprehend the whole of the
Yeah,
program. Uh,
yeah. And
you
implementing,
can
yeah.
take it at your own pace because
Yeah,
I had to. I
yeah.
couldn't take it at the pace that it was first rolled out to me because I was still recovering from COVID. and
Mm,
I had a really hard time with it.
yeah. Right before I think we met, you had it or something, didn't
Yes,
you? Like you
yes.
got on the call, our first initial meeting.
And I was still
Just
struggling
we
to get
just
help.
right. But you
But
did
now I
it.
feel stronger and stronger, and every day I feel stronger and more passionate that I can really help people. And it's
Yeah.
because you taught me this key part of being an entrepreneur. I
Yay!
write that
Yes, you got
down.
it. You got it. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, there's support and there's accountability.
Yes,
And you can reach out to me at any time.
yes, yes.
Now,
I
and,
thought that was just kind of like saying it, but it's true.
yeah.
When I reach out to you on Facebook, you're there
Yep.
and you're responding.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm there to support you, forever. You're in, you're family now. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, for sure. So any parting words?
The whole mindset piece has helped me to think out of the box in so many ways. I
Mhm.
don't have to just see people twice a week, once a week. I'm
Mhm.
thinking in terms of how many people I can help, and the more the merrier that I can get them in, get them help, and get them done and on with their lives and
Yeah.
leading a good life. So, in part, your helping me has helped a teenager already
Mhm.
with stuttering. Teenager was stuttering and got him a scholarship for the summer to work with gaming
Oh
design.
my God, I love it. Yes, it's a
Uh,
ripple effect for sure.
Ripple effect.
Yeah.
Your work with me is
Yes.
helping me to work with others, and I
Yeah.
really really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's same with you, right? Who you're helping is also going to have that ripple effect. Like, yeah, so they get the scholarship, but it's also going to impact their life.
Their belief in themselves to go on and confidently speak is
And have a
just
thriving life. Well, thank you so much, Peggy. I really appreciate you sharing your perspective. And yeah, if there's anybody out there who knows of any teenagers struggling with their speech, I know Peggy for sure. I mean, 38 years, come on, right? It's like after that amount of time, you've seen a lot of things. Like I've been helping business owners since 1996, right? So it's like I've seen a lot, right? I know how to navigate
Mhm.
through a lot of things in order to get people where they need to go.
Right.
If anybody out there is an expert in what they do, but they feel like they're confused
Stuck.
or frustrated or stuck on how to get the right people finding you, calling you, and paying you, then this is the answer, right? It's like I can take you on if we're a good fit, and we can walk you through the process. It's very specific, very customized, very tailored to who you are, who you want to attract, what your overall business wants to look like. But there's a framework to it, right? There's a framework that's been around for centuries. And that's the other thing I say too. It's not easy. You do have to do the work, but I simplify the process as much as possible, and we collapse the 3 to 5 year time frame down to 8 weeks, right? 8 to 12 weeks. Well, 8 weeks you pretty much have everything you need. Yeah, it's different for everybody, but yes.
Sure. It's different
But
for
3 weeks
everybody,
you
and
really get a lot of clarity in 3 weeks.
yeah.
So yeah, usually people get at least one high ticket client within the 8 week period, and yeah, so it really changes things around quickly. So you don't have to keep losing money every month that goes by, or you're not gaining money, you're losing money. And if you don't know what you don't know, and it's up here in your blind spot, how are you ever going to see it, right?
And to be able to do what I love and with the people that I really, really have a strong heart desire to help, it's given me peace.
Oh,
A
so good.
peace I haven't had in a long time.
Oh, I love
So
it.
that too has been a great benefit of joining the program, is to
So,
find my own peace.
so great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peggy. Thanks for joining us. I think that's going to help a lot of people in the future. So, and keep doing what you're doing. I love hearing, your success and all these people that you're continuing to help. It's amazing. So keep posting in the group. I want to keep hearing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to brag.
Yeah. You're not right. You gotta, they're lucky to have you. So
So
yeah,
thanks.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for a lifetime of change.